Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the fifth quarter show. And believe it or not, Adam, we are already at week 10.
Week 10 already?
Week 10, and what an exciting week it has been. And without further ado, we're going to jump right into the show because we know you folks have got a lot that y'all are waiting to see. And I'm sure we got some parental type that are tuned in, ready to watch. So let's take it over to the screen here. We got our athletic director, Ricky Phillips, is joining us. And Ricky, it's been an exciting day for signing, right?
It's been a big day, National Signing Day across the country, and we have 3 young ladies today that signed their national letters of intent, and that's always a good thing because you get the chance, to see the culmination of a lot of hard work, a lot of time and commitment from these athletes and their families. So I'm going to ask them. I introduced them today at our signing ceremony in front of their peers. I'm going to ask them to introduce themselves today. We're going to tell your name, sport we're going to be participating in, and also the college we're going to be attending, and then we'll talk about these young ladies. Avery, go ahead.
My name is Avery Streetman. I will be continuing to play golf at Latona University in Longview.
My name is Rose Ever, and I'm playing softball at Weatherford College.
My name is Casey Fitzer. I'm playing tennis at Hardin-Simmons University.
So three great young ladies. Let me just start right there. 3 great young ladies, not just student athletes, but students, great academically, great on our campus. They're involved in other things. They've come through our program for 6 years. And they've chosen this path. And, like we tell every year we have a signing ceremony, we tell the onlookers, these things aren't by accident. These guys have put time in, spent some money, they've traveled, they've missed a lot of other things. A lot of family and school things, probably because of the sport that they're playing. And we're glad for them and so proud of them and their families. This was a great day, and I'm not going to lie, one of my most fun days that we have during the school year is to see our young people get a chance to go play collegiately, because that's not an opportunity that everybody gets. So
well, all of them are headed up north. Wow. Yeah. LeTourneau, that's a good university. I know a young man that's going to LeTourneau right there. He's fixed to be my future son-in-law.
Yeah. These young ladies, they're great in their sport, and like I said, they're even better than that. Besides being a great tennis player, a great softball player, and a great golfer, they're great young ladies. And, they represent their sport, Gatesville High School, Gatesville ISD, in our community in the best way possible. And that makes it even more special for them. But, they're competitors. They hate to lose. I'm going to speak for all 3 of them. Losing's not an option, and they're great competitors. They prepare that way. They don't mind being coached. These are guys, they want the truth. Yeah. Don't sugarcoat it. Tell me the truth. I want to get better. And you have to applaud these guys because they have put in the time. And again, proud for them and their families today. This was a great day.
And then for Glover, softball's right around the corner. So you got one last hoorah to show us what you got. Right? You excited?
I'm ready to play with my teammates just one last time. But
yeah. Well, we're going to be trying to get a photo shoot day scheduled with you guys so we can get y'all ready to go. And
well, the good thing is, Lee, all 3 of these guys still have spring seasons.
Oh, yeah.
So they all signed today, but they still have spring seasons coming up. So they played in the fall a little bit, but the bigger part of their seasons are coming up. So it'll be fun to watch them finish out.
Exactly. And Fitzer, you got a lot more tennis left to go this year too, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. Do your folks travel to every game with you?
Yeah.
Yeah, are they really, really into it? Yeah, I bet your dad is.
I was about to say, I bet her dad.
My dad doesn't travel. My mom does.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to try to see if I can rope him into going and videoing some of the tennis tournaments for me. That'd be kind of cool, wouldn't it? Yeah. Anyway, thank you very much, ladies, for joining us tonight. We wanted to recognize y'all. We weren't able to be at the school today to stream it live, but we wanted everybody to see who was signing today. And I'm excited about every one of you headed off to bigger and better things.
Thank you.
I don't know if better, but bigger things. Let's put it that way. There you go.
Bigger things.
All right, Adam, let's give a little bit of our news update here real quick.
A little news. Hey,
a little news.
Speaking of little news, you've got some band update, don't you?
Yes. We want to talk about the Gatesville Fighting Hornet Band performing at State today. They performed at 10:45 this morning, and I did get word from Mr. Sanchez that they have made it into the top 10, and they will be performing at 7:45 tonight to for their shot at it.
And correct me if I'm wrong. This top 10. This is the first time that's happened for Gatesville.
First time it's happened for Gatesville.
But this is the third time in state.
Third time in a row for the band to go to state. So, there's a lot of things we're going to talk about a little bit later. A lot of streaks that we got going on with Hornet athletics and so forth, but band has got their own streak going on, and I wish them all the best, and hopefully we get a good news update from Mr. Sanchez later on.
Absolutely.
With that being said, want to mention real quick some other things that we've got going on. For all of you who don't know, yes, the football playoff game this Friday night will be televised.
It will.
But that will be televised on the NFHS network, so you will need a subscription for the NFHS network, and I believe that subscription is $11.99 for 30 days. Now, I know I've had some people come to me and we can't watch it for free. Yes, I have spoiled you guys. But $11.99 is cheaper than 2 tickets to go to one game. $11.99, you can watch any playoffs that the Gatesville Hornets are in for the winter sports season that happen to be televised.
I was about to say,
you get the entire month.
At this point, you go ahead and get that membership because we've got a lot of sports that are in there. I mean, if they had got it for the volleyball, they'd already have it now for football.
Exactly. So go ahead and get your subscription put in now, $11.99. Be ready to watch the game Friday, kickoff 7 p.m. The Hornets are going to be in it to win it. So I think it's retribution time, but we'll talk to Coach Hunter about that in just a little bit. Speaking of Coach Hunter, we got him on the green screen right now.
Hello, Coach.
How are you doing tonight?
Doing good.
Great.
How about
All right.
you guys?
The internet's on the cloud, but I think you're up there with it, aren't you?
Yeah. After last week, for sure.
Yeah.
What a difference a year makes, right?
Yeah, big time. Walk off that field a little different this time than we did last year.
I thought I noticed a little bit more of a spring
Yeah, a little
step as
pep.
you came.
Yeah,
a little
yeah,
pep in
yeah.
the step as you came off.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a young man that kind of helped with that. Well, we'll get to him in a little bit.
All right.
One of our viewers just messaged in. I got to say this. We were talking about how cheap a subscription is, and this one viewer said, "Well, it's cheaper than an airplane ticket." So,
True that. $11.99.
anyway, all right. We got a lot of young men that we want to recognize tonight, Coach, because this, what a special game this was Friday night.
It was. Crazy game.
Very special game. So, Adam, I'll let you bring out the first young man.
We're going to start with the bottom of the top. We're going to start with our offensive line. Hunter Swindoll,
come on.
Caden Kaufman, Jared Burks, Joe Cox, and Gabe Pollard.
Yay.
The Fab Five. Here's that over. So you're going to fit.
Now, there's a reason that we got 5 young men right here, because these 5 young men right here, Coach, I think was one of the biggest keys to your entire offensive game Friday night, because I believe wholeheartedly, and I believe Adam's in agreement with me, these 5 young men wore Connolly out Friday night.
100%, and you can talk about all year. We have a running back that's rushed for almost 1,700 yards, and that doesn't happen without these 5. And they get coached really hard every week, and we put a lot on them. And we had some guys really step up that haven't had a lot of experience, and had some guys that we really counted on. Slide over. Keep on coming, Gabe. Get in the picture.
You
put the biggest one on the end.
Yeah, I know. You should have been in the middle there, Gabe.
But no, they've done a lot all year, and they just continue to respond. And I think you're right. I think if you watch the game Friday, they were kind of taking it to us a bit early.
Yeah.
But I think as we just kept chopping and made some game plan adjustments, some run game adjustments, and that's what these guys are so good at, is coming to the sideline, hey, this is what's going on. All right, how can we get better angles? And our coaches do a good job of giving them better angles, better down blocks, different people pulling, and they did a heck of a job, and they ended up winning us in the game in the end with Rayshon's touchdown.
Well, you mentioned that just throughout the game, the progression, and like Lee was saying, I have complete agreement. Y'all wore them guys down.
Yeah.
I mean, from a former lineman, whenever you go head to head in the battle, and it's just a stalemate there at the line, that's a tough battle. But then the second quarter, y'all started inching across the line. By the third quarter, there's a couple guys with their hands on their hips whenever y'all come up there, they're sucking wind. By that fourth quarter, there wasn't a defensive lineman that didn't have his hands on his hips. He was worn smooth out. And whenever you could tell, whenever the ball was snapped, y'all were a yard down before contact was being made. So it was great to see.
It was one of those battles. We were watching film, and in the third and fourth quarter, it'll take all these guys in their D line about 10 seconds to get up off the ground after every play. And it's just one of those type of wars. And these guys end up winning in the end. So really proud of these guys and their growth all year.
Yeah, we saw a lot of defensive players with their hands on their hips, man. You knew they had their hands full. Were you guys feeling that? Y'all were feeling that about midway through the third quarter, wasn't you? Yeah.
He said he was tired too.
But here's the thing, every week after week, we try to recognize who we feel were the biggest standouts and the reason for their standout. And in my opinion, there was just no way that we could have a show tonight without recognizing the offensive line
100%.
and the effort that they put forward, allowing Rayshon to rush for what he did, the passes that started accumulating later in the game and so forth. And that, hats off to you guys, man. Y'all did a great job. Thank you very much for joining us, guys.
Yes.
Thank you.
Very good.
Good job, guys.
All right, next, I want to bring out two guys at one time here on this next one. I want to bring out Mr. Keaton and Mr. Smith. If y'all would come on out for us.
Ray. Is he wearing he's wearing his nice little hat. There you go, bud.
So, wanted to recognize these two guys here as impact players. And I'm going to tell you, it was really hard. I mean, there was a couple of things that made this choice so hard for us. Rayshon, 46 carries, 4 touchdowns. I mean, I'm sitting here going, wow. Impact player for sure.
Yeah.
But that's what we need to see. That needs to be your new normal, is 4 touchdowns a game. All right. So that's where I'm. That's
we'll try to limit the 46. That's a lot. 46 is a lot.
Were you tired, Rayshon? a little bit.
That's what blew me away. I saw that stat, and I texted Lee. I was like, stats? I mean, this 46?
Crazy.
That's man.
And it wasn't just that it was 46 carries with the ball. It was 46 carries with the ball and usually 2 or 3 defensive players with him at the same time. I mean, and that was a minimum, I think. That was about the norm, the average of players that you see in carrying. So you worked hard and earned your dues Friday night, man. So congratulations there.
And your little move we've affectionately named the spin cycle. Whenever you get hit, I mean, it's like a video game. I mean, guys grabbing hold to your spin and they're like slinging off from distance. I mean, it's great to see. But good job.
Well, I think once we got past the spin cycle Friday night, he just put it on rinse and run.
That's it. It was done. It was done.
It was good.
All right, and Mr. Keaton, what can we say, man? When you saw that pass coming, what were you thinking?
I gotta go get it.
Were you smiling as much as you are right now? That's the question, because you could just tell.
Were you smiling down the sideline?
I was trying to score.
You were that close, man. You were that close. But we definitely had to recognize you because that was one of the proverbial nails in the coffin right there when we were able to get that interception. That totally swung the whole tide of the game for sure.
100%.
And then just once again the special teams where you're stepping up there, and then he had the one reception, the big one there. So I mean,
well, and he a lot of people don't know. Had an injury in the kind of early in the game. In the second half, he played a totally different position.
Yeah.
We had a lot of shuffling in the back end, and for a kid, a freshman that's coming out, and to be able to play multiple positions, and he made that pick at a different position he's played all year.
Yeah.
So that's still show you the knack for the ball.
That still gets me every time. Even during the game, Lee will be like, "That's a freshman."
Yeah.
I mean, to catch me off guard, I'm like, man, he doesn't play like it.
No, he doesn't.
Got a lot of football IQ right there.
A lot of football left. So
yeah, a lot of football. The smile on your face right there says it all. Yeah, I got this one for 3 more years.
That's right.
But anyway, we appreciate you guys joining us, and I'm gonna tell you what, none of these guys are making it any easier as every game goes on for us, Coach. Because Egling had a great game. Jack, he's doing a lot more in the game.
Huge.
The defensive linemen, they're doing a great job too.
Nielsen.
That was a big catch. That was a really
those were a lot of our honorable mentions right there, man. We were just so close. Anyway, thank you guys for joining us, and good luck Friday night. We're going to be there watching.
It'll be good,
guys.
All right, let's bring out Mr. Kleider.
I guess.
Come on, Z. It's like his 3rd or 4th time being on the show, isn't it?
He's been here a couple of times.
Yeah, he's walking around a little bit of strut there. He's got the nose, Yeah, he knows he's been here, and he's earned it.
All right.
Mr. Xavier Claytor, our player of the week. Z, hey, you did it great. So there's a lot of stuff that you did. I guess the one thing it's the elephant in the room. It's the one thing everybody's talking about. It's the one thing that got you on Channel 10 News with the big interview.
Bad interview, but it's okay.
Rayshawn did kind of overshadow you a little bit, but yeah, good job. Blocked field goal. Did you know it was coming? Did you know you had that one, or did you see it?
Were you feeling it?
I knew it was coming. I told everybody that I was going to go block it.
Okay.
There you go.
Well, you're not the only one, because as soon as I saw y'all line up on that heavy on the right side, I was like, okay, the Z's there. I was like, and I've said it all season, your first step is and I'm going to credit a lot of it to wrestling, because I watched you over in wrestling there for years. That first step off the ball is impressive, and as soon as I saw y'all load heavy on that side, I was like, here it comes, watch it. And then you just did what you've been doing all season. So as much as it was impressive to see, it's what you've been doing all season. You've definitely been you've progressed through the season. It's been good to see.
Hey, flying around.
And I'm going to tell you, Coach, whenever we were looking at all the players, all the fantastic things that were done, trying to weigh it out, who do we give player of the week to? Because Keaton's interception, fantastic. Rayshawn's running touchdowns, fantastic. Offensive line's performance, fantastic. I think for me what it all came down to is, we're sitting at home Friday night. Had he not blocked that kick?
Yeah, it was a really big block.
That's a big thing for me right there.
Yeah, no, it's a big block. And, he like you said, he's done it all year. And he's definitely a force to be reckoned with off the edge. And for somebody to go out and have the career he's had and have that big moment in the game, something I always remember for sure. So.
Yeah.
Who was that beside you on the line there?
Logan Biggs.
Okay,
Logan
that was
Biggs.
Biggs. So between the two of y'all, that ball wasn't getting.
Yeah, they're both.
One of y'all was going to get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, between you and him, y'all both. Now, are y'all normally lined up side like side, or y'all usually split on each side, one on each side?
Side by side.
Okay.
They've been side by side.
Because y'all are always back there. So anyway, hey, I'm not trying to put up too much out there in the air what y'all do, but good job. I've been impressed.
Congratulations on Player of the Week, and you saw there's a special note there for you tonight.
Awesome.
So anyway, congratulations. We need some retribution Friday night. So I'm expecting big things from you Friday night. All right. Congratulations.
Good job.
All right. We're going to bring our athletic director back out. And real quick, just a couple of more side notes. I'm not going to read a whole ton into the news tonight, because there's some of these things that I want to discuss with our athletic director. Once again, I'll let you go ahead. You want to recap on the football game Friday night?
Well, recap the football game was, we can spend the rest of the game on that, or the rest of the show. But basically, it comes down to Gatesville erasing a 21-point deficit in the fourth quarter to down Conley 35-34. That's the regular season finale. So that sends us into the playoffs. This is the fifth straight playoff berth and finished third in District 23 4A. So nice job there. We'll face Madisonville in Rockdale on Friday. That's for the 4A playoffs.
Kickoff 7 p.m. NFHS Network.
Not Hornet Radio.
We cannot, because whenever we have the NFHS broadcasts that come up, I still have a lot of people that text me and stuff. And I can't find that link. Where's that link at and stuff? And I have to reiterate that. So,
Lee, what Hornet fans need to understand too, they get to watch Friday's game and they get to go watch them again next week.
Yes.
For that same $11.99.
Yes.
So that's going to be
that
a deal.
Will cover the
That
rest
deal's
of
gonna
it.
get
It's
better.
worth it.
That deal's going to get better next week too.
It's totally worth it, guys.
Save on that gas money to drive to Rockdale.
Yeah. And just a couple of quick side notes. Girls basketball had their season opener already, and they beat Groesbeck.
Beat Groesbeck in their opener. Lost last night at Belton, but played hard. They're 1-1. They'll play at Mahia on Saturday morning.
And both the girls and boys game has been rescheduled due to the playoff, right?
Yes.
Awesome. That we were wondering about that. We were like, I'm glad that was able to be done, because that could affect a lot of folks and what they'd be able to watch or participate in and everything else. But at the same time, those are the kind of good problems to have.
Very good. Those aren't even problems. Those are just things you'd work around.
And then real quick, if you want to help us recap, we have quite a few academic accolades for various sports that have been, you've put it out on the Gatesville website this week. Let's start with volleyball. Do you have them all memorized, or do you need me to?
Yes, we've had 6 senior student athletes that were named to the Texas High School Coaches Association Academic All-State team. And as we talk about this with our kids and we publicize this is not your ordinary honor roll. This is class rank, GPA, ACT, SAT scores. So Vanya Martinez and Addison Taylor from volleyball. And then from cross country, Vanya again, along with Cameron Thompson and also Malachi Olvera. And then from tennis, Ian Rayner and Aziel Martinez.
There you go.
So those 6, and just proud of them. And we've had, there've already been some academic all-district teams listed. Volleyball had 9 players on that. Football comes out later. Football also for the state academic comes out later too. So, and that's a big deal. We stress that. Our coaches do a great job of stressing, being a great student first. And so when you can come out and celebrate the academic side of it, it's a big deal for us. I'm proud of our kids in that regard.
And then as we progress along into the season, I can't wait to see what football athletes we get to put in that category once the season. How far after season is over before they get to release that information?
That stuff will usually come out. The THSCA for football comes out the first week of December.
First week of December. So not too much further that we have to wait to see who gets recognized in those accolades. And it is so exciting to be able to recognize athletes for their athletic abilities and what they achieve on the court, on the field, or whatever. But whenever you're putting academics in the mix of all of this, it just really speaks volumes, not only to the coaching staff, but to the group of teachers and everything that put their time and effort into what's going on with the athletes. How does that make you guys feel whenever you got these athletes that you see, but you see them going up in their academics as well?
Well, I think that Coach says it's kind of understood, being a part of our athletic programs, because our athletic programs are not just the wins and losses. A lot of people see the wins and losses, but there's so much more that go into it. And our coaches across the board push that. Our administration pushes that. Coach Phillips pushes that. And so everybody's like key in unison and saying, that's priority number one, because if you can't do that right, you're not going to win anyway. And so that's a big point of emphasis for us. But also, there's 4, 5, 6 football guys, multiple volleyball, in San Antonio right now. So now you throw that on top of the academics and then doing the rehearsing Monday nights. It's just, our kids at Gatesville are doing a lot, and they're doing it at a very high level right now. And so
that's why their endurance is so good for the games and everything.
There's some of them, Easton Johnson and Draven, those guys will practice with us at 6 a.m. Monday, and then they won't go off the field for band till like 9:30 Monday night. And then we practice again at 6 a.m. Tuesday. And they show up ready to rock and roll. It's just, and their grades, it's incredible what a lot of our kids are doing. So it's awesome to recognize them, because they definitely deserve it.
That's one thing we mentioned last year, and that I really hung on, and that it's just they're student athletes.
Yes, sir.
And that's a big push, with the coaching staff and encouraging that, and knowing that like I said, I've had kids that have come through the program, and that is important. It's pushed and it's encouraged. It was kind of funny. Somebody was in the stand was joking this past week that there's some teams that you don't want to play them first part of the season until after that 6 weeks rolls around, because things thin out. But that's not the case here. Because our students are going to still be there. They're not going to drop out because of grades. So.
Well, and the really cool thing about that too is, besides just being student athletes, they're multi-sport, they're multi-activity. These guys have jobs, and we talked about it last time I was on. Our first 9-week passing rate was 95.4%. For over 432 high school athletes. And we're going to celebrate that all the time. But our kids are busy. I think a lot of people sometimes look at our kids and, they made academic, or they got these accolades. But they're great time managers. They're organized. Sometimes need a little pushing and encouraging, but that's our job. But you mentioned it's teachers, it's administrators over there, it's everybody, it's parents getting involved too. But that's one of the things that we're always going to celebrate. And man, hats off to our kids, because they're the ones doing the work.
And the work, that's one thing. I've got friends that are in larger cities and other areas around that their kids don't have the opportunities to be multi-sport athletes. Like I talked about how my son, I was talking to a friend of mine, I was like, yeah, he lettered in 4 different sports. And like, how? Well, it's the beauty of Gatesville.
That's what you do.
If you can do it, do it. And yes, so, but it's also because of the encouragement and the guidance that the teachers and the dedication. I just want to see, I don't know if you noticed, whenever you asked Ricky if he knew everybody, he didn't miss any of them.
I know. I was like,
even the one that you had to coach him, he knew it. I mean, he was just getting it out there. So,
that's impressive.
I mean, that just shows how involved and invested the coaches are, all the way from the top down. So,
And then
I'm impressed.
Real quick, we were kind of talking a little bit before the show, but I want to mention it on the show now before we get to Coach Hunter and a little bit about football. But we do have athletically, other than band, who is on their third straight year at state, but we have a lot of athletic programs that are riding high on a lot of streaks that are going on right now. We got volleyball. Just finished a 22-year streak, getting ready for 23. We've got tennis, you said was how many years?
7 straight years. Since we started team tennis, 7 years in a row.
7 years in a row.
Yes, sir.
And then we've got football now. Congratulations.
5
This
years.
is first time in
Big
school
deal.
history, 5 years in a row.
Yes.
Don't forget soccer. I think soccer last year was the boys' first year to not make the playoffs. Was that right? I mean,
It was their first playoff win in 6 years for the boys, but also cross country. We've had 13 years in a row of having a team or an individual go to the state meet.
Wow.
Cross country as well.
well, do we have any more Martinez's coming out? Because that's where we're gonna hang our hat on that one. Between Carlos and Vanya, that's how to set us up for a while. But wow,
I'm going to have a talk with Jake. But anyway, but yeah, that's, man, seeing those kind of things, and then, I was trying to take a look at, now moving on to football, taking a look at that come from behind win and negating that deficit. I was trying to look back through or find and track down information, if anybody had any information, if that was the largest or one of the top largest come from behind victories that the Hornets have been able to experience. In my broadcasting time, that's been the biggest deficit that's been overcome, and congratulations on that.
Yeah, and that was a big one. It was a crazy night. A lot better feeling walk off that field last time, or this time than last time. So.
That was a good feeling.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, and it was, I had some fun watching a certain coach get a little animated on the sideline.
I'll tell you this, it's funny you watch, because that video's been played a lot, and the excitement is good, but if you watch after we score, there's not very much excitement.
Right.
And it's all because last year we went crazy. And it's like, no, I said, hey, we're going to go finish, man. We got to go. We're putting our 2-minute bands on. We're getting ready to go score again. Like, we're getting ready to go.
Well, I'm going to tell you this. It's funny that you mentioned that, because soon as we made that score, my message center started blowing up. Are we having flashbacks? Or where are we at? Are we going to do this? People were like, they were so excited, but they remembered.
Oh, don't worry. Everybody remembered. Nobody forgot.
Oh, we did too. I mean, we started checking plugs, make sure everything's still plugged in. We are not losing this broadcast.
We were holding on to the table. We were checking every plug and connection, because you got to go back and watch the game, I believe.
Yes.
And did you notice at the end of the game at how much our cameras were shaking?
Yes.
Because we were rocking that stadium.
Yes.
We even made the
great.
comment, if you do not realize the excitement that is going on at this game, Gatesville, step out on your front porch, because you can hear us.
I agree.
But we heard them. We heard them behind us. So.
Yeah.
Well, everybody was behind you, Coach, and they were behind the team. And the team did a great job and gave them plenty of reason to jump on the bandwagon. So.
Well, no, I mean, you got to give credit to Coach Garrick. They are very explosive. They had some really explosive players. And you go into a game like that, and you got to limit big plays. And we had a hard time doing that early. But I'm proud of our kids for trusting the process, because most of the time when you're running the ball like we were trying to and not being successful, you can start bucking it. Ray didn't buck it. The lineman didn't buck it. They just kept trusting the process and saying, all right, we got to stay in this. And then you got to have kids make plays. And Grady's play was a big play. Clark's fumble recovery was a big play.
That was a big one.
And then taking advantage of those. And that score right before half was a really big score. I mean,
I pointed that out to Jacob, who stepped up and helped us broadcast and color comment on the game.
Yeah.
I talked to him, because he hadn't always made our fifth quarters. That's one thing you've always mentioned, is winning that middle eight.
Middle
that
eight's
last
a big
four and
deal.
first four.
Yep.
And you definitely did that this past week.
Yeah, well, we won the last four. We were driving the last four. We ended up getting a holding penalty or a chop block. But no, that score was big because it kind of eased it. And we went in the locker room, and it's just how our kids are. I asked Garrick in the locker room at halftime. I was like, man, I feel like we're a little flat. And he's like, Coach, we're good. We're going to be okay. We just got to trust it and trust it. And I'm like, well, I'm glad you feel that way because right now we're getting our tails kicked a little bit.
Your players definitely bought into it, Coach, because you could see it. Like when we were talking about the offensive line, and that's just really watching them and just progressing. I knew things were shifting. Now I'm not gonna lie, 21 points going in that fourth quarter. It didn't look pretty.
Yeah.
But I was seeing it, that, like you were saying, that shift. And your guys were buying into it. The offensive line was firing off. The runs were looking better. The one thing I thought was great was that the Conley fans, they thought they had it.
Yeah.
Fourth quarter, there was a mass exodus on the other side of the stadium. And I was like, I looked at Jacob and was like, they're going to regret that.
I'll tell you this, guys, being on that sidelines, and credit to Aaron, our coaching staff, our kids never thought they were out of it.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, they no matter how bad it got, even started the fourth quarter down 3 scores, they never thought they were out of it. And just you could hear on the sidelines. Our coaches are, they're still positive. They say, hey, we're still in. Players are hearing that message, and they never wavered. And that's really neat when that happens, because you can look up at the scoreboard and be down 20 points and think, man, there's 12 minutes left. But they kept on playing and playing. That's a testament to these guys, the coaching staff, and those kids.
Yeah.
That was a great win.
Well, I know, like Adam mentioned, that your big deal is the Final Four and the middle eight and so forth like that. But there was an amendment to this game right here because Hornets won the last 24.
Yeah, we did. No, you're right.
That was tremendous. That last 24 minutes, it was that the Hornets owned the second half of the game. Congratulations to you on that.
Yeah, it's big.
We got Madisonville Friday. Just want to briefly hit on that real quick because, believe it or not, we're already at the end of the show. But
in the playoffs, yeah.
Yeah, in the playoffs, Madisonville in our district, last district, and our last meeting with them wasn't a pleasant one. So, what are we looking forward to Friday night?
No, I mean they're a very good football team. They're returning a lot of those guys from last year that made those plays. But at the same time, we are battle tested. That's what we talk to our guys about. You look at. We have 5 losses, but you look at all those losses that we've lost to. Glen Rose is top 10 team. Mahey won the district championship. Vernon is going to the playoffs in their district. And then you see what La Vega and Robinson are doing. And so, we're battle tested. And so we just got to keep trusting the process. And we're going to have to go make plays. I mean, that's bottom line. They're going to make plays. They're very explosive offensively, which is kind of what got us last year. They came out and went bang, 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 and we couldn't recover. And so I told the guys, I said, don't think you got 21 in you in the fourth quarter. They don't think that's that's our formula, because it is not. Don't think that. Proud of you, but that's not how we're going to do things.
we need to do that all 4 quarters next week.
Let's start the burst play. But, I mean, it's going to be a good football game, and it's what you want in the playoffs. And so we're excited about it, excited for the opportunity. For 5 years in a row, and, your son's a part of this, where this program has come in the last 5 years is really impressive. And a lot of hard work's been put into that. And that's kudos to the guys that have come, Coach Howard and everybody that came before. But we're trying to go out there and make people proud. So,
well, you're off to a good start right now, Coach, and so appreciate it.
Yeah. We're excited to be there Friday night. It's going to be an exciting night. The Hornet Broadcasting crew, we're going to be outside again, but a little bit of a different outside atmosphere. I was gonna send a message and thank the Connolly coaches, for the hospitality and letting us in early and everything else. But I figured I needed to give them a minute.
No, they're fine. I mean, he knew. I mean, it's just one of those deals.
Yeah.
He got to celebrate last year. We got to celebrate this year.
That's the beauty of our district.
Yeah.
It is. It's tough.
Man.
We're going to be in Rockdale live Friday night, 7:30. We're going to be headed out of town a little bit early. 7 o'clock. Yes,
7 o'clock.
Thank you for that correction.
Yep.
Almost messed everybody up.
Yeah, you
Tuned into they'd have been tuned in to the Hornets leading the game already.
There we
Didn't
go.
know what was going on.
There we go.
But anyway, closing out. I'm going to give you a break tonight
Okay.
because this young man right here.
Uh-oh, now you get the question.
Now, here's the word that I just want you to recap on one more time for us because I just love the way it was. Tell us what relentless is.
What is relentless? It's a combination of things. It's never, ever giving up.
Yeah.
It's always thinking, it's finding a way. Some things we wrote this morning, finding a way to make a play.
Yep.
Finding a way to help your team, finding a way to win. Relentless pursuit is a big deal no matter what sport you're playing. Mm-hmm. It's a mindset. Saw it Friday night with those guys on the sidelines. It's a mindset that you're never out of the game. that you trusted the process, you believed in all the things that you've done to prepare, and you're relentless in that pursuit.
Well, I tell you what, I just wanted to give you an opportunity to recap that, because whenever I saw that you put that out there about the football team Friday night, and just the way that you typed it in there. I mean, you had the capital R.
Did I misspell anything?
No, it was all spelled. Well, I don't know. I wasn't a spelling bee champ myself, but I sounded it out, and it sounded good. But anyway, I just thought it was. I thought that was very inspirational, the way that you put that out there, describing the team and their effort and their Hornet fight never dies attitude. The way they followed it all the way until the final buzzer Friday night. It was amazing.
I just, I thought, I don't know how poetic or just prophetic or whatever, however you want to call it. How many times this season, or on the fifth quarter this year, how many times, Coach, have you said, we just got to find a way to have one more point?
Yeah, literally. That's what we try to do.
And Friday, whenever I looked up at that score, after the smoke had cleared, the crowd had settled down, I looked up and saw 35-34. All I could hear was you sitting here going, we got to find a way to have one more point. And I was like, oh, my gosh.
He found that point.
I found it. Where'd he find it?
Find a point. I don't know. Find it somewhere.
It was beautiful. Yeah. I was glad to be
Appreciate
there.
That.
All right. Well, thank you very much, guys, for joining us tonight. We're so excited about going into the playoffs.